All right, today I'm going to show you how to stop squeaky brakes on this 2500 Chevy Silverado. And basically, the big thing is just the difference between these slides. I'm going to show you where to grease them so they don't squeak and stuff like that. This slide is the new one. This is the old one. See how there's buildup on that, and that could stop the brake pad from sliding. And it can cause some noise, and it can cause you to premature brake wear. So I'm going to show you how to do this. Once it's jacked up, you want to take off all the lug nuts. With something like this, I recommend electronic over air. Way stronger, in my opinion. All right, so once you remove the lug nuts in the tire, there's 4 bolts. 2 go on the top and 2 on the bottom. This one holds on the whole bracket. This one holds for the pads. You're gonna want to take both of them off just because we're gonna be greasing everything up. And I'll show you how it is. One down here, one down here. What you want is, for this particular 09, you need a 19 mil and then a 21 millimeter, and then obviously some breaker bars. And then I'm gonna loosen those up and show you how to grease it up. All right, so I took off both of them. They come apart. This is the whole caliper with the pistons. These are the 2 pistons. This is a brake pad piston spreader, so that this stays apart, because otherwise, with there's no pressure going in, it's going to come back out, and you don't want that. You want it as big as it can, especially if you're putting new pads on. Makes it really hard. Since this is a heavy duty, I tied it up like this with some string so it doesn't fall, because then it'll break this wire, or not wire but tube, and then you'll be leaking. So this is the part that came off that holds the pads. Really dirty. I'm gonna clean that off, put some lube on there, and show you where to put it. So these were the little slide pin holes where you could put them, put the pin in. This is actually, I put new ones in. I hit it in with a rubber mallet so I don't break this with the metal on metal. I hit it with the rubber mallet, and I pulled these out with a flathead. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but you got to pull them out so that the other ones can fit in. No grease is needed on that. All right, so you don't have to do this, but I put lube on that. That's not essential. I just like it everywhere because I'm weird. Oh shit. I don't have to re-lube that, but you put it on these, on the slides, okay? I use this stuff. Synthetic caliper, great, brake quiet. All right, and then these things on the back of brake pads, they're supposed to be like a new quieter thing. This is metal, so I don't like that. If it's rubber, that's a whole different story. But regardless, being that it's metal on metal, you can see from the piston circles there, I'm just gonna lube it up. Because why not, right? Honestly, this lasts for a while, and when your brakes don't squeak, you feel like a badass. So these were the old ones, super dirty. It looks nicer than the other ones that I saw on the other side, but regardless, doing them both because I'm going on a trip. So all right, so I put these bolts back in just very softly. I'm gonna lube up these pins also, these pins, because they slide in and out. That's the slide pin. So besides these pins, the sides of the pads where that rubber thing should be, in this case it's metal, and the slides themselves. So technically, once you're done, once I put these pins in, the slide pins, you should be able to move this thing back and forth. In this particular case, since these are such new pads and it's such a big rotor, it's not going to move back and forth as much or whatever, but when these are off the rotor, these should slide back and forth. It's actually such a pain in the ass because they were so slidey that I had to do this without videotaping it. So just believe me, with those things lubed, you should never have a squeak. Let me know if you have any questions. All right, guys, here's bad brake hardware, dirty, and then clean, right? I'm gonna show you these real quick. So this is why they're bad, because when they have this build up on them, this is insane. Some of the worst I've ever seen, actually, on my own truck. The brake pads can't slide up and down because there's literally edges here. So that's why it's so vital for these to get lubed up and maintained. It would cause uneven wear on the rotor and everything else. So that's what it looks like if they're bad and not lubed up properly. This is a dirty one. You can just tell it's got dust on it. You could basically just wipe it off. After I wiped it off, this is what it looks like. And then I could reuse this, but I just got new stuff. And then when I'm talking about lubing it up, guys, I'm just saying go like this. Don't do anything crazy. I mean, you could put some on like this, and then put some on the other side right here. And then that U shape is gonna go right on that ledge there. You can even do these a little bit if you want. But basically, a little like this, a little bit more if you want. But I'm not saying go crazy. The more the merrier, but don't get the silicone grease on the pad itself. Just wipe it off with a soapy rag or anything like that. But I could reuse that, not going to, like I said, I just bought new hardware. But this is important. Change it out, keep your brakes clean. Any questions, post them below. Love you guys, thanks.